Karina here, your Lucid Living coach. I am so excited about this fight. This is Mike Tyson, which is from my childhood, and my papa and my uncle were both boxers, and they taught me to box really young. So I'm super into the traditional boxing with gloves, not like off gloves MMA, just not into it. I'm kind of old fashioned when it comes to boxing. This guy is a YouTuber. I don't know him very well. However, his name is JakePaul. His birthday is January 17th, 1997. So this kid is only 27 years old. I think he's had like maybe 10 fights, and I'm going to pull up that soon. Mike Tyson, his birthday is June 30th, 1966. So Mike Tyson is 58 years old. He is a retired boxer, for whoever doesn't know. He's a retired boxer. His last fight, I believe, was in 2020. It was not a professional fight. It was a split. So it was a split draw where it wasn't a win or a lose. So it was tied. That was his last fight. His last pro fight was in 2005. And I'm going to pull up the charts for both of those. We're going to look at the charts. We're going to look at each of these boxers' natal birth chart against the full moon in Taurus that's happening today on Uranus, and see what the heck is going on. Who's going to win? What's going to happen? And I'm going to talk a little bit about maybe what their little idea was to do this. So let me pull up the chart. I'm going to share this chart first. I put them side by side. So as you can see, we have Mike Tyson on the left side. This is his natal birth chart. He is a Cancer sun with a Sagittarius moon. We're looking at maybe a rising Leo. I'm not sure because the time is not exact. Now, JakePaul, he is a Capricorn sun, and he has a moon in Taurus. So this is kind of like his lunar return. So you know this is a lot of emotion. This doesn't look good, in my opinion, for a good fight. When you are in your lunar return, you just want to isolate and go inwards, okay? And also the North Node, the transiting North Node is in his 12th house of his unconscious. Also, this Chiron here. Plus, we just had some eclipses, right? The eclipse was in Aries at 19 degrees. So there was a new moon eclipse here. So these eclipses have been on this axis right here for Paul, around the 12th house of his unconscious, things letting go, being more, maybe getting more in the spiritual realms. But this is also addictions and hospitals. And then over here is the 6th house of work. This is a south node. This isn't giving a whole lot of energy towards his daily routines, his health, and his habits. However, with this Mars, so I always like to look at Mars when I'm looking at sporting events, right? So we have Mars in Leo right here in his 4th house. Now, the 4th house isn't a great house for Mars to be in, but as well as Mars in the 12th house isn't the greatest placement. They're both water houses. Now, Mars conjunct Mercury is going to give Mike Tyson the agility and the mental stimulation to really like outsmart his opponent. So I can see this actually working in Mike Tyson's favor. However, on Jake's side, Mars is in his 4th house. So he has maybe a lot going on at home, in his home life, in his unconscious, right? But do you see how Mars is opposed his Uranus, his natal Uranus in his 10th house of career and legacy? This is unexpected things happening. But because Jupiter, he could have this expanded sense of like, oh, like kind of like optimism that isn't going to serve anyone. Like Jupiter influences his Mars. In my opinion, I think that he could be overconfident in this fight, thinking that he's going to just destroy this old man. But this old man has like, I think like 50, 58 fights versus 10 fights. Like this guy might be retired, but he has more skills. And he's been resting a while, right? Because he retired. His last pro fight was in 2005. We're in 2024. This guy is literally coming out of the grave to reinvent himself, because his last two fights were not impressive. They were lost, okay? So this is Mike Tyson here. This is the king of boxing. And his last pro fight was a freaking lose. Like, this guy's coming back to reclaim his name, and he wants to show his family what he's about. This son in the fourth house, he wants to show his family that he is a champion, that he has skills, and he still got it. And maybe he wants to show his grandchildren. Who knows? But when I was looking back, when Mars was transiting his 12th house, let me pull up and see if I can find that chart, was in 2004, he did a fight. Now, he did not win that fight, however. And then prior to that, Mars was in Leo so we have right here, he had a match on July 30th of 2004, the last time Mars was transiting this area. Now, Mars was on top of his Mercury in June 30th of 2004, but there was no fights that I saw. This was the most recent fight, and the sun was in his 12th house. So I could see, a loss. 12th house sun, you're not feeling energized, you're feeling really tired. That's not good in the line of boxing. Now let's get out of there and let me share this other one here, right here, so you can see the difference between these two. So we have JakePaul 27, Tyson 58. We have the record of 10-1, 50-6, right? So he has a lot more experience, as we all know. KO's 44, KO 7, that's a pretty good difference here. It's around the same, if you think about it. So we have, that's more than 50%. So that's like a 70% win here and an 88 here. And then we have a 6-1, 5'10". So JakePaul is taller, and he's got a better reach, 76-inch reach versus 71-inch reach. Tyson's got to keep way back, or keep really close. So here's his last boxing matches, and we have Mike Tyson, June 11th, 2005, and we have November 28th of 2020, that was not a pro, but it was a tie pretty much. And so I just wanted to show you the loss. See how Mars was at 29 degrees on top of his natal Saturn? Saturn restricts things. So it restricted his energy and his vitality. And today it's on his Mercury in the 12th house. So he's got more of an advantage. Over here, Mars was in his 9th house in Aries. This was good. He had the energy to make it happen. Over here, so Venus is that planet of like more Venusian, right? It's relaxing, it's a receiver, it's the feminine energy, and that was on his sun. So he was definitely not feeling the best. And then Saturn too was in his 12th house. The moon was in his 12th house, and not good. Jupiter was in his 2nd house, expanding his resources. But Uranus in his 7th house. Yeah, these aren't the best charts for wins. Now this one, see how the moon was on top of his, so this was an almost win. Do you see that? And this is very similar to the fight that's going to happen today, because the moon will be in his 10th house of career and legacy on his north node. So this was a draw. So Mars was in a good placement. What was the problem here? Maybe the sun was in the 4th house. Maybe that was the problem. And it wasn't in Scorpio, because Scorpio's triggering the Mars. But because the Jupiter was being triggered here, and Jupiter was in Capricorn in the 6th house, like that's not a conjunct Saturn. So this is all Saturn. So I could see where, all right, this win is probably, very close, but not close enough. So I I'm thinking that today is going to be much a better turnout from the astrology from the last two fights. I think that the astrology and the energy is more in his favor, even though Mars is transiting his 12th house of his unconscious. That's hard. But at least JakePaul and him both have some of the very familiar transits and water houses. So you can see. Okay. So in 1994, Mars was in his 12th house in Leo. What had happened was he didn't have anything going on because apparently he was convicted of raping someone and he was put in jail for 4 years or 3 years. He served 3 years. And so in 1994, I have nothing to go off of because he didn't have a fight. The only thing I had to go off of was in the 2004 fight when Mars was in his 12th house, but he also had the sun there. Not in this situation, so I can't really draw conclusions there, but we could look 1995. So what else do we have going on here? So here's some dates here we have Tyson wins and loses the years and the dates, right? And so that 2000, so we have all that there. I was kind of doing some research. We have some more. See how 1994, he was gone and serving time during these 3 years here. So we have nothing to go off of. Didn't fight. Yep. Okay, got that. Well, okay, so in 2020, this is the one that was a split draw. Okay, so yeah, you want to see some moves here? This is jump. So this is the split. This was the split. Okay, so there it is. So this was in 2004. So this was like 20 years ago. All right. And then this is Kevin Bride. This was in his last profile.
Okay, guys. And now there's the left eye.
He was pretty fucked up.
Opens up. Looks like it's over the left eye.
Oh, wow. See. Round 6.
There's a turn from a.
Oh, yeah. See, and this is where he lost. See. Right here. Let's see. See? Right there. He got. Okay, so. You guys, this is what we're looking at here. Wow, he can barely make it to his feet. Do you see that? This was his last pro fight. This guy is determined to kick this kid's ass. And let's just talk about some of the transits here. So we have Tyson. Here, let me pull up his chart again. This is interesting. I'm into it. I've done astrology reports on football, which I love football, but to be honest, I love boxing more. I have more experience in boxing. I only cheerlead for football when I was younger, never played. So right here, we have the full moon in his 10th house. This is his career and legacy house. This is huge up here. And he just, in one of the interviews with this young girl, he said that he doesn't care about legacy. He says, who cares when you die, when you're dead? So he cares about what legacy he is having while he's alive. And so that's why he's raising out of the grave to really highlight his career. He's probably was, needing some money. He has a south node transiting his second house of how he makes a living and his own resources. Also his sixth house. The north node is focused on his unconscious, JakePaul. And then you have this guy's north node, Tyson, in his 8th house, which is all about shared resources. So he's probably wanting to make some extra money. And I think that's Mike Tyson's drive toward this. And not only the money factor, but to reappear and reclaim himself after that awful lose in 2005. So, yeah, I mean, I'm seeing that Tyson has a lot more to lose. We have Mars on his Mercury, which is making him more mentally stimulated, and thinking more quickly on his toes. I think for him, Mercury is transiting his 7th house, and this is more of like balance and harmony. Even though it's an air house, I don't know, he might be feeling like some type of way towards Tyson. We have Mercury transiting his 4th house. This isn't all that great either. But I think that because this is triggering Mike Tyson's destiny points, like this is huge for Mike Tyson. I think a lot of the things from his past have been coming to the surface, and he, like I said, he wants to reclaim himself. I think that this full moon Uranus, I think it might be something unexpected. It's going to be unexpected. I believe it's going to be a win because Jupiter's on his Mars too. And so this is expanding this like energy and this drive. I think he's got what it takes for this. However, what scares me about JakePaul's chart is that he is a bit ruthless right now. I think he is so much feeling that opposition with Uranus, and Uranus in his 1st house of his appearance is he's going to be seen very differently after this fight. And I don't know if it's in a good way. I think it's more in a ravenous way. I think people might see him as being like a sick bully. Like I think that he might even go out of lines of like breaking some of the rules, and he might hurt Mike Tyson really badly. But I think in the end, Mike Tyson is going to win this game, whether that is this guy just completely disregarding the rules just to fucking hurt Mike Tyson, because that's this unexpected things and shifts. And like, he's going to have to live with it. Like 12th house is like isolation. This is hospitals. This is jail. This is like, your undoing. So he has some karmic undoing that he might be focused on at this time. I don't know. This fight is something else. I mean, the full moon for JakePaul is in his 1st house, like on his ascendant. So both of these guys are in the eyes of the people, right? Because this is like being seen. Anything at the top of your chart, this is career and legacy, and this is your appearance. This is how people see you. But this is how people see you in your career as well. So he's not a professional boxer, but he's got some experience, a little experience under his belt. Now Mars transits conjunct to his natal Mercury and Leo. It's a powerful combination. It blends mental energy with assertiveness and action-oriented energy. And, you know, Mars is in this private area of his unconscious. And so I think just a lot of stuff. It's mental intensity, for one. 2, these are hidden things, hidden thoughts, even maybe hidden motives and desires. Also, Mars being in the 12th house is hidden enemies. So he could have some, JakePaul could be a hidden enemy, and he's really going to fuck him up and disregard the rules to the boxing game. And that's how Tyson's going to win. But Tyson might find himself in the hospital with Mars and transiting his 12th house of the unconscious of the hospital. He could have, I don't know. I think maybe JakePaul might get a head injury because Uranus is here in his 1st house, which rules the head and his appearance and the way he looks. So he might get fucked up. He might not look the same after this fight. And, you know, this is just something real exciting. Don't know what's going to happen. But this is also for Tyson psychological insights. Just because Mars is there, he might experience moments of mental clarity too and insight with the Mercury activating that. There's conflicts and aggression too. So he could just feel a need to defend or assert himself strongly. But, you know, he may not feel comfortable doing it in this public setting. So there could be some behind the scenes tension, particularly with family members too, and close friends, where arguments and disagreements might arise. So maybe Tyson's family, you know, is probably like, don't do this, dude. You're going to get yourself hurt. He was in the hospital. That's why they didn't fight in July. So we're looking at like there could be some serious repercussions on Tyson's part, being at his age and having these health problems, particularly heart problems, and all the drugs that he's been taking, probably like testosterone and stuff, to like get himself ready for this fight, could be putting a lot of pressure on him. So I don't doubt that either one of these guys, like, you know, Mike Tyson might be in a bad shape after this fight, but JakePaul might, I think they're going to beat each other's asses, but I don't know. I think people aren't going to see JakePaul the same after this fight. Misconduct of some kind, I kind of see happening. The full moon in his 10th house of career, the sun is conjunct his south node in the 4th house. So the focus is too on the past for Tyson. It illuminates his past patterns too. And any kind of like family stuff, outdated emotions, maybe of him just feeling like a loser at the end of his career. And I think that this is one of the big reasons he wants to redo and relive this fight. You know, he wants to end as a winner because Mike Tyson is a winner. And it's opposite his moon conjunct his north node. So this transit pulls a lot of emotion and focus and energy towards his goals, reputation, his professional development. And he feels this strong drive to align with his career, with his values, and to find greater emotional like satisfaction with his public image going out, not just going out as a loser in 2005. So he's reclaiming his career, his legacy that he doesn't believe he has when he's dead, but while he's alive, and then the tension between this home and career. So there might be some like not a lot of support on the family and of people that really love and care about him, because they care about his health. Where Tyson he cares about his reputation and his career, and like feeling good about himself, and like being a provider, being that man and providing for his family. And I think this is helping a lot of money rolling in. Now, let's look at JakePaul, because I know y'all are wanting to know. So Mars in Leo, in the 4th house, right there. It's opposite to his Uranus in Aquarius in his 10th house. So it's a period of an intense energy and potential disruptions in particular areas. Like this could be career, this could be his home, this could be his public image, and there's sudden changes. And I think that there has been some changes before this, and this is why he's like been focused a lot on pumping up this fight and stuff like that. But Uranus is that planet of unexpected, sudden changes, and Mars is amplifying this, okay, in his 4th house. So this opposition can bring a surprising event or development that forces him to make quick decisions, particularly regarding his home, family, and career. And there's some conflict between this personal and professional stuff too. Maybe his home is also in opposition for him, fighting this old man, and like he could ruin his reputation if he loses. But if he, you know, does things out of line because he's feeling that sense of needing to break free from restriction, and he wants that freedom and autonomy, and his desire for these bold actions and asserting himself in his career and legacy, when that's not the focus for him right now. The focus is his spirituality, like his spiritual house, like tending to these maybe addictions or something like that. But this is like impulsive action and rebellious urges. And that's why I'm like, dude, this guy's unpredictable. And like, I'm a little fearful for what he might do to Tyson just to get a leg up in this win. But there's definitely feelings of restlessness on Jake's part. He has a strong urge to make changes in his professional life, and he has that sense of inner tension and conflict about maybe how to best move forward with this. And there could be some frustrations that arise because he might not be making the right moves for himself professionally at this time. Potential arguments and tensions could arise on this day from this fight. And Mars opposing his natal Jupiter. Okay, so that's false optimism. Like, he's just so energetically ambitious right now, with some tension around how to pursue his goals, and his beliefs around that. You have Pluto right here at 29 degrees, which is Pluto's right on his Jupiter too. So it's transforming and having a death in his optimism. So that's another not great placement. Pluto's going to be moving into his 10th house of career and legacy. And that's just going to completely transform. I don't think he's going to be doing what he's doing for very much longer, with Pluto about to run in there, slowly crawl in there for the next 20 years, going to be transforming that area of his life. And that's not going to be fun. That's not going to be fun. But yeah, I mean, this full moon is forming that conjunction in his first house. I mean, it's time for self-discovery for him. Like, where his identity and his outward behavior could dramatically shift. He might feel a strong desire for this change, and just to be kind of like this off the wall, unpredictable, kind of persona he's got going on. He definitely wants more of the awe factor. He wants to be different. He doesn't want to be the same. So I think that he's looking at some transformations going forward, I think, after this fight. He has a trine to his natal Jupiter, Sun, and Neptune with this full moon today too. So expanding horizons, spiritual growth, optimism, and that optimism can turn against you. Integration of his dreams of reality. Maybe he does really look up to Tyson, and maybe he wants to maybe help Tyson out a little bit in all of this. So I don't know. It could go either way. I'm feeling a little mixed feelings about this, but definitely JakePaul's going to have some sudden realizations about himself and breakthroughs and positive growth oriented after this fight too. He's going to definitely feel that emotional intensity. And I think I think that Tyson might win this. I think it's going to be a very close fight, but I think that Tyson has more of the transits in his favor. Unless this isn't the correct rising for JakePaul. And if Mars is in the 3rd house, then he's got the better Mars placement. I don't know. It's just not looking good. I don't think it's looking that very good. But, we will see, won't we? This is a crazy fight that I am looking forward to. And who do you think is going to win the fight? Tyson? Or You tell me in the comments below, and I'll see you on the next video.
If you're interested in a reading or a future prediction, head over to my website and order a transit report or a natal birth chart.